today on land that was, is, and in my opinion always will be land of our first people. And while I pay my respects to elders past of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities, I also pay my respect to elders of all communities that have walked this land before us. And I really pray and hope that their sense of country, their sense of family, and their sense of living will stay with all of us and the generations to come. All right, so what are we here for? How to cyberproof your business. Now, it's been a mixed month for small businesses, especially in New South Wales. And we're not talking about cyberproofing for a moment. We're talking about the number of small businesses that are under the pump. All right? I don't want to get the stat wrong, so I'm going to look at this piece of paper. And it's 5.04%, the highest we've ever had after the pandemic, equaled only by 5.08 at the pandemic. Businesses that have shut down. I personally know of 4 businesses in the last 8 days that have closed their doors. So this is a hard time for small business everywhere here. And all of us in this room know that. All right? But also know that not just as a chamber, but as people, we are here for each other. And we will advocate together and we will move forward together. Because guess what? When we get together, we can make a hell of a bloody noise. Okay? And we've done that before and we will continue to do it. Special welcome to all our new members. I'll leave that to our president to name them and do them. But I see lots of familiar faces around the room, so welcome to you too, and I look forward to having a drink with you after this is over, as we always do. And those who are new here today, come and join the chaos at the bar. You'll have fun. If you don't drink, doesn't matter, just put up with us. All right, having done that, I'm supposed to change this thing, aren't I? All right, you know me, so next. All right, just want to thank all these lovely people up here for supporting the chamber. I can see Harry looking around. There you are. All right, and all the others as well. But thank you, because without these people's support, we wouldn't be anywhere. Also want to thank Council for their support, local publications. We've got local radio alive out there, kicking up a ruckus as usual, and we'll have lots more fun with them later. But it's time now to get our president up, because every organization relies on the person at the head. So, Emmanuel.
Thank you, Brian. I left my glasses at home. Luckily, I write my letters very large, so I'm going to ad-lib. That's okay. So can I start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. Can I also acknowledge Councillor Glenn Elmo? He's been a very regular councillor who's been attending all our meetings. Thanks, Glenn, for all your support. And I believe Councillor Sujan will be joining us very shortly. So, this is our Chamber's last meeting of the year. Now, when we started in February 2024, I presented a KPMG report and we were talking about what the challenges were for 2024. And a couple of things strikes me. One was, of course, increasing cyber attacks, and second is, of course, the increasing interest rates. So I think it's very pertinent that we end the year with a session on cyberproofing. So I would like to thank Dr. Sherman Chan, who's the Chief Economist for the Business New South Wales. Now, she'll be presenting two things. One is the what we call as the business conditions report. Now, what's the business conditions report? Every single chamber across New South Wales releases a survey among its members, and Business New South Wales collates the report and sort of finds all the similarities like only Dr. Chan can do, and presents the report. Now, what is crucial in that is that you as business owners can look at it and then identify what is the existing conditions, what we need to do to address the situation, right? So it's very critical that we hear from Dr. Chan today. She will also be presenting a brief report on cybersecurity, which they have collated, and I know a few of our members were at the release of that report in the city by Business New South Wales. Can I also thank, of course, the panel that we will have today. We have Kiran Bichwal from DLI Training. We're going to have Shubha Bala from one of our sponsors, Adi Cleaning, Facilities Management. We will have, of course, Gaurav also sitting on the panel. And Gaurav today is, he's the head of cybersecurity for a large insurance firm. He'll be the second speaker. Gaurav is very well certified on cybersecurity. He's probably in the forefront of what is happening inside the cybersecurity war today, and he's the right person. He'll also be one of our keynote speakers, as well as he'll be sitting on the panel wearing a hat as the head of cybersecurity of a large insurance firm, and talking to us about what were some of the challenges that they faced in cyberproofing their business. We will have, of course, Vijayan Jayaraman as well, who's an IT professional, and he looks after many companies, and he'll be able to talk to us about what are some of the challenges he has seen in the market today. Now, as we know, with cyber security and AI, it's becoming more worrying that now cyber criminals are starting to use AI, and that's a challenge that we need to start addressing as well. Now, one of the things that I also mentioned very briefly in the beginning of the year is about AI, and we talked about how AI is moving very fast. Now, I think when we started talking about AI in the beginning of the year, we looked at it as something which is, new, nice to have, but I think very swiftly it has become a must-have in most industries today. I know our vice president uses ChatGPT very extensively in his business, and I think everybody should be. Now, we have planned for 2 events which will be of interest to you. One is in May, we're going to have an international business event. And the second one is we are collaborating with a couple of other chambers and with MP for Parramatta, Dr. Andrew Charlton. He's actually going to be bringing Fortune 100 companies together with local businesses. Now, the aim of this event will be how the Fortune 100 companies can procure from small businesses. We want to connect you guys, because you know how hard it is to engage with the bigger companies. We want to facilitate that. So we're going to ask these guys, what do you want? Then we're going to come to you guys and say, what services do you provide? And hopefully we can connect. And we just don't want to have a procurement event like a lot of people do. We want to make things happen. That we connect you, put you on the panel, have a process where ultimately you'll be on the panel and you can actually tangibly provide services to Fortune 100 company. So these are 2 things. Now, on that note, international business is a key differentiator for this chamber. Now, if you look around you, right, we have people from various nationality, and that's really a differentiator. We have board members from China, from Korea, from Turkey, from India, and all of them bring their own expertise and connections from these countries. So what we are planning to do now is focus on 4 countries: Turkey, India, China, and Korea. So we have actually planned, what we do is we want to do 2-way traffic. What that means is if we have businesses in those countries wanting local representatives, we are going to organize a bridge. We are structuring a bridge for them to come here. So we will tell you these are the services. Is anyone interested? Second, the other way is if you guys have any services and you want to expand into any of these 4 markets, we will assist you as well, because we'll be now signing sister partnerships with chambers in each of these 4 countries. Now, on that note, if you guys have, I know William, where's William? He's got connections with Ghana, for example, right? So if you have connections in India, any other countries, please bring it to us. We want to expand because, internationalization is, I think, critical. And if you guys are so inclined, we will facilitate you as well. We are also going to have 4 multicultural workshops before February, and we will let you know where we have it. And this will be how different cultures can work together and effectively collaborate and do business. Now, Brian, can we have, so you will have QR codes and things around. Please like and follow us. The board has decided we keep the membership at a very low. You would see around you that, we have fees ranging from 500 onwards. We deliberately want to keep it low so you don't feel pressurized when you're coming here to actually get a return on investment, right? So we have actually decided to move from the $50 that we have to $80. Now what that means is we need a large volume. So if you can follow us on Facebook, tell your friends to join us. Now that'd be really great. We have also moved our AGM to the beginning of next year so that we can have portfolios and be more fine-tuned. So I'd also like to thank the Cumberland Council. Now this year we have worked very closely, and as I keep saying, one of our differentiators is also a very close relationship with the Cumberland Council. We had a number of events this year, and we hope to have a number of events next year as well. We have formed a very good relationship, and special thanks to Chris Menowski and, of course, Helder Guerrero. Thank you. Now, I would also like to thank our platinum sponsor, who also happens to be a vice president, Kenan, from Australian Disability Services. Alpesh, I think, who will be here shortly, and I know Shiva is here, from RD Facilities Management, who's a gold partner, and of course our media partners, Paranews, Oz Arab Media, Shabil is here, covering everyone, there he is, as well as, of course, we have Alive 90.5 outside broadcasting live today as well. Thank you for me. So we will be starting our sponsorship new the next year. We have 3 tiers, platinum, gold and bronze. Platinum is at 5,000, gold at 1,500 and bronze at 500. If any of you are interested, please come and see me. We have left QR codes around the table. Please feel free to, especially with the Facebook, like and follow us so you're updated on any of our events that will be coming up. So, and also finally, I would like to thank our board and each and every one of you. Now I see whenever we have members, there is a group of people who regularly come to all of our events. So thank you for coming. Especially in the third quarter, we found a lot of chambers were struggling for memberships. Anytime we have a event, we get 80, 90, 100 people easily. So thank you for continuing to support us. And a special thanks to Harry Wallia, of course. He has given a lot of his time to come here and take photographs as well. Thank you, Harry, for all your efforts. I know Christmas is a time when we all look forward to spend time with our families and recharge for the new year. Hope you all have a great holiday period and a fantastic, successful new year 2025. I'm sure we will all see interest rate reductions in the new year and hopefully a much brighter business environment. Thank you. The chamber would like to recognize Harry for, he's been actually taking his own time and coming and taking photographs for us and be a photography partner. Thank you, Harry, for thanks very much.
If I can find that mic, we will welcome new members.
We've had, I think, 17 new members in the last 2 or 3 months.
All right, here we go. Let's start this. Boss Consulting. It's a representative from Boss Consulting. Yes, we've just got a little token of appreciation for all our new members, something they can proudly display in their office. BizStack Proprietary Limited. Beyond Taxation and Business Services. Hillside Excavations Proprietary Limited. Hudson Property. Sounds good. The Global Friendship Association. That's what we need more. Global friendship. Dane Link Proprietary Limited. If I've got the name right. Dane Link, good. Raja Anand Raja. You've got to get this guy to do your functions. Nathan Kasser, Master of Ceremonies. Give him a young setup. We'll get him in. We'll do the next one. L. Dubé Consulting and Training. Mavan Business Advisors. APM Employment Services.
I made it.
You made it. Charles Lawyers and Associates. She's on the way. All right, we'll keep it for her next to the Zinnia. All right, Nathan, is Nathan back?
She's here, she's here.
She's here? No, she's not. That's sure. All right. Nathan.
Nathan's live.
He's live. All right, we'll wait for him. All right. Thank you, Emmanuel. All right, our keynote speaker is just getting ready. He's sorting out some cable issues at the moment. We'll soon have our clicker happening as well. All right, fantastic. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce our first keynote speaker, Dr. Sherman Chan, Chief Economist of Business New South Wales. Dr. Chan.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you can all hear me even from the back. Yep, all good? Wonderful, thank you. Well, special thank you to the Chamber for the invitation to be here tonight. As Eleanor said, there will be two parts to my presentation. The first part is to give you an update on business conditions based on our very unique business condition survey data. So those of you who've taken part in the survey would know that we ask questions that Cumberland is publicly available, and on the APS website we try to always find out why and how things are happening. And the other special feature of our data is that we put a heavy focus on regions. So we don't just focus on Sydney CBD or we don't focus on any particular area. So when I go around and do presentations at different events, I am able to actually give you a regional breakdown and give you the local insight that some of you can definitely relate to. So that's the first part of my presentation. The second part is basically to give you a bit of an overview of a report that we released a couple of months ago on cybersecurity. Now, I am definitely not an IT expert, but what I can show you is something that is very practical, which is about business sentiment, how businesses are feeling about cybersecurity. Because quite often when it comes to cybersecurity management, the key challenge really isn't about the technology. It is really about people's attitude towards it. So what I'm going to show you will probably answer some of those questions that a lot of you have in mind with regards to cybersecurity. So now let's get on with the presentation. So this slide comes from the most recent survey about business sentiment and business self-rated prospects for this financial year. The green bar represents Western Sydney and the black bar represents the New South Wales average. Again, just showing you how we are able to actually do regional comparison. So we asked businesses to rate their prospects for this financial year on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 meaning shut down highly likely, 5 meaning having just enough business to survive, and 10 meaning we are absolutely thriving. So what you can see is that depends on whether you're a glass half full or glass half empty person. Most people answer 5 out of 10. Okay, and what I have gathered over the last couple of years as the chief economist at Business New South Wales is that businesses tend to be very cautious, very conservative, and very modest. So for me to see 5 out of 10 being the average is actually quite encouraging. So people are actually feeling somewhat comfortable about this new financial year. And of course, you always have a bit of some businesses on the lower end that are struggling, but at the same time, don't forget to look at what is on the right-hand side as well. You do have businesses giving themselves 10 out of 10. So whilst going through some of the comments that people have put in the survey, and for those of you who don't know, I do read through every survey that comes in. I actually look at all the qualitative comments that people share with me because I appreciate that they've spent the time to do it. And what I've gathered in the latest survey is there's actually quite a bit of positive sentiment out there. Some people believe the worst is over, and some people actually have been pleasantly surprised because they had anticipated the past year to be difficult, but it turned out to be relatively okay. So there's definitely an improvement in business sentiment. And I think this is reflected in this graph as well. Now, despite the improvement in sentiment, there's still a lot of challenges that businesses are facing. So, we keep talking about how business conditions are difficult. So, I was keen to see how exactly are things really out there, what's really bothering you. So we've asked businesses to tell us, what they see as barriers to business expansion. Again, you can see the comparison between Western Sydney and New South Wales average. Again, green bars represent Western Sydney. Top of the list is the cost of doing business, which I think all of you can relate to, right? Like inflation's been strong and everything's gone up in prices, so that makes doing business very difficult. And that's followed by a somewhat related item being taxes and government charges. So that's also related to the cost of doing business. And after that, we've got lack of customer demand. As I think all of you know, we are in the middle of a consumer-led economic slowdown. So that's not really that surprising. Now, further down the list is skill shortage. People think that the economy is slowing, so it should be easier for us to access workers, but no, the labour market remains very, very tight, especially in certain industries and in certain regions. So we are definitely seeing that in our findings. And what you can see is that some of these challenges are particularly more severe in Western Sydney compared to the state average. As you can see, the green bars, where they're longer than the black bars. Now, I just want to focus on 2 key areas tonight. Given the time that I've got, so I'll talk more about the cost of doing business and also the skill shortage aspect of it. Now, in terms of the cost of doing business, we've been complaining about inflation. We've been complaining about how it is costing so much more to run a business. But what exactly is it that is bothering businesses? So we've asked them to actually rank what their concerns are when it comes to the different cost categories. Now, some of you are probably wondering, why are loan repayments all the way down the bottom? Haven't people been concerned about interest rate increases? Yes, people have been concerned about interest rate increases, but not everyone is in debt. That's number one. That's point number one. And second is not everyone struggles to repay. Now, people have been worried about interest rates mostly because of the impact on their customers and the impact on the broader economy. So when it comes to how they're actually coping with loan repayment, yes, there's still concern. Like out of 10, the average is still 5.4 out of 10. That's not really that great, but still, on a relative basis, you can see that there are definitely other things that are worrying businesses a lot more. So top of the list, you have taxes and government charges, followed by insurance costs and energy costs. What I can tell you is that we've been tracking this for 2 years now. The top 3 have been consistently these 3 items. And across the state, it tends to be insurance at the top, but here is sort of equal first for this region. And energy is always a bit of a concern as well, given a lot of businesses have received a bit of a price shock. I think about a year ago, people received the bill, and that's double-digit increase. So a lot of businesses have been concerned about that. Now let's take a deeper look into some of these things. Let's look at insurance costs. So people have been complaining about insurance premium rising, but how much has it risen? So we've asked businesses how much they're paying in insurance compared to a year ago. The top bar represents Western Sydney, and the second bar represents New South Wales. So what I want you to focus on are the brown or dark red, whatever you see on the screen. So the dark bar all the way to the pink one. What you can see is in Western Sydney. I'll focus on that. You've got over 90% of businesses in Western Sydney saying that they've had an increase in insurance premium over the last 12 months. Okay, so you're like, people are paying more, so people aren't really getting a great deal. What is most concerning is that if you look at the furthest left, 23% of them said the insurance premium has increased by more than 30%. And I can tell you, I've presented these findings at different, at different events in different regions. A lot of businesses actually would come up to me afterwards to say, I can relate to that, that's me. Because if you think about it, it's really about 1 in 4 businesses saying that they've had an increase of over 30%. Now, why? Because sometimes insurance products change, so people have to purchase different products in order to have the right coverage for themselves. And of course, there's also the usual increase in premium as well. So about 1 in 4 saying that they've had an increase of over 30%. Now, the bright red bar, it makes up about 48% of total respondents in Western Sydney. So they are the ones who experience an increase of 11 to 30%. Now, that's not really that much better either, if you think about it. It's still a double-digit increase, it's massive. And then the pink one represents 1 to 10% higher. So altogether, over 90% of businesses have experienced an increase in insurance premium. And that is really causing a lot of uncertainty about how they can manage their finance when prices are going up that quickly when it comes to insurance. Now, I just want to show you what it really means, right? So we always want to know what the implications are. So how have businesses coped with the increase in insurance premium, for example? Now, top of the list, you can see we have had a budget reallocation to pay for the high insurance costs. So that's probably the less bad outcome. So businesses are able to find the money, except they have to sort of reallocate their funding. They're probably taking money out of other buckets in order to pay for insurance. So, but at least if you want to be a glass half full person, you'd be like, oh yeah, at least they can still afford it. They still pay for it. What concerns me the most are the subsequent items. We are insured below our desired levels. In other words, you are underinsured. So you actually expose yourself to risks. And then the second one is we have gone without more mandatory insurance. So people are doing the bare minimum, what is required to get the license or to keep running the business. But they're also exposing themselves to risk as well. So probably not so much in this area, but say in certain regional areas where businesses are exposed to natural disasters. It's not a compulsory insurance, but if people don't have that kind of coverage, they really put themselves at risk of very significant outcomes. And down the bottom, our business viability is at risk. And unfortunately, we do have 14% of businesses in Western Sydney thinking that their business viability can be at risk due to their inability to afford insurance. So these are some important implications that we need to bear in mind, because when we talk about the cost of doing business being a challenge, it's not just about financial management. It's about the consequences as well. So when you have to forego things like insurance, it can have longer term implications for running your business. Okay, so that's cost of doing business. Now, as I said, the second topic I want to talk about is skill shortage. Now, we've been talking about how hard it is to find the right workers, and people are looking at the unemployment rate still being very low. So today I want to actually challenge you to look at this topic from a different angle. So I want you to think about productivity. So this is a graph from the ABS, and it shows you productivity level over the last 10 years. Yes, it peaked in 2022, and it's been going down since that time. And with the latest data, we know that productivity we're still below pre-pandemic levels. Now, what exactly do we mean by productivity? So, everyone has their own definition, and as an economist, my definition is to look at output per hour worked. So if you think about the workers, if you think about your colleagues, how much are they really producing every hour? And you sort of track that over time. What you can see is that there's been a very sharp drop since its peak in 2022. And there was a bit of an improvement, but then it came down again. Now, at Business New South Wales, we're just always so curious about like why things are happening. So, well, I don't have it here today, but just so for those of you who are curious, there are it makes of different reasons. Top of the list is changing workers' attitude to work. There, of course, like other underlying causes behind that. Some people attribute that to post-pandemic fatigue, that people just go to work with a different attitude now. And second could be related to the labour market being so tight, so they know that bosses need them. So they sort of give them the attitude. So there's a bit of that, but that's not the coverage of tonight. But what I want you to look at is this. There's been a decline. So we've asked businesses in Western Sydney what their experience has been over the last 2 years. So that's basically the time when when it's dropped from the peak. 45% of businesses in Western Sydney told us that they have really experienced a decline in workers' productivity. Okay, so they're seeing people actually producing less compared to 2 years ago. Now this is concerning because you actually want that line to keep going up, right? This is how you achieve growth. You want people to be more efficient. You want people to work smarter. But no, we're actually working slower. So sometimes the question I've got up there is skill shortage or productivity decline. They're related in a way because if productivity has declined, now we actually need more people to get just the same job done compared to 2 years ago, for example. And your need to hire more people means that you should go out to the market and compete with each other to find workers, and that together would contribute to a very tight labour market if you think about it that way. So is it really about skill shortage, or is it because of us having to fill the productivity gap? So that's something I want all of you to have a think about. But now let's move on to the more positive side. There were some businesses that experienced an increase in productivity, not too many of them, but across the state we've got just enough for us to actually ask them about their experience. So what did they do to actually achieve the increase in productivity? Now before you look at everything else, I actually look at like the very last item here. No specific actions taken, 9%. So what can we gather from there? You need to do something to get productivity growth, okay? You can't just sit there and wait for it to happen. Only 9% of them were that lucky. So you'd be really counting the chances. Are you that lucky, 9%? If not, then there are other things that you can consider doing. 70% of them said that they've increased staff training, so that's the most direct approach that older businesses can think of. Okay, my staff isn't producing as much as I would like them to, so send them to do training or give them additional training on the job or whatever. So staff training is the #1 choice, followed by IT programs and AI solutions, and then there's also R&D and engineering equipment. Now AI solutions is an interesting one. We've been talking so much about AI, however, when you look at what people would consider when it comes to boosting productivity, you've only got about 23% of businesses saying that had been their sort of solution to boosting productivity. So what is holding businesses back? We've asked that question about business owners or managers' attitude towards adopting AI in their business operations. Again, on a scale of 0 to 10, we just asked them, where do you think you sit? This is a very interesting graph, in my opinion, because normally when you ask people to rank something, like on a scale of 0 to 10, you get a bell curve. Just like the one that we saw before, you get most people sort of like concentrated around the middle. But when you ask people about AI, this is the special one. You actually see a W shape. So you have all of them sitting on the fence, as expected, giving it 5 out of 10. I'm happy to try, but I'll let Brian have a go first and see whether he thumbs up. Okay, and you learn from him. Or on the other hand, you've got some actually giving 0 out of 10. Like, this is absolutely not for me, so they actually rule it out straight away. And then you've also got some that gives you 10 out of 10, then I'm all in, without even really knowing what you're getting yourselves into. So you've got to go with W shape when it comes to AI acceptance, and this is what we're seeing when it comes to business managers or owners' attitude towards adopting AI, which is not too bad if you think about it, because you have the majority of them giving you a score of at least 5 out of 10. So, in general, they're still receptive, but there's probably a bit more education or awareness raising that we need to do. Now, this is the interesting one. We've also asked businesses what their staff members would think about AI adoption in the workplace. Look at this, especially in Western Sydney, represented by the green bars. You can see that a lot of them said that their staff would give it 0 out of 10. They totally don't want AI in the workplace. So this is actually something quite special. Now, I've received questions when I present findings like this. People are like, no, everyone's got AI on their mobile. That's not true. Yeah, they've got it on their mobile for personal use. Not for work, right? So when it comes to work, that's when people really hesitate. People people are afraid that they will be replaced, and people are just afraid of all sorts of different consequences. Is my job going to be different? And what do I need to learn? And do I need to be retrained? There's a lot of all those considerations. Now, I do have data on that, but it's probably for another presentation, not tonight. So what we have found is that there is actually a correlation between hiring demand and also attitude towards adopting AI. So what we found is that businesses that are more open to using AI are also having higher demand for workers. So it's not necessarily about them wanting to replace workers. Sometimes it's about them wanting to grow, wanting to become more efficient. Okay, so again, as I said, that's a conversation for another night. So this is what I've got on AI. Now, the second part of my presentation is about the cybersecurity report that we launched a couple of months ago. Again, we've got similar data, and this time it's specifically on the SME sector's attitude towards cybersecurity. Now, I know we've got lots of IT experts in the room, so I'm not going to go through the definitions with you, but what I want you to say is, what I want you to see is about the scope of our report. Apart from the data that we've collected, we've also got some case studies with our business members, some real case studies that I think many of you can relate to. So, for example, when we talk about ransomware up the top, we've got case studies about cafes and restaurants being attacked. So some people would think, when you talk about the cyber attack, very rarely would you think about a restaurant. You'd probably be thinking about an accountant or a lawyer or whatever. So the report just wants to show you that cyber attacks can actually happen to anybody. And you can see, at least I could feel the pain that they all went through. So I do encourage you to have a read of the report. With ransomware, even if you can choose to pay. It doesn't mean that they can unlock your account for you. Or if you choose not to pay, then you basically, what we've seen is some businesses have to engage IT experts to help them find alternative solutions. And what that means is even if you've got the best people to help you, you may still need to close your door for half a day or for a whole day. Think about all the lost income. And not just the business as well, think about the workers who are paid on an hourly basis. They actually lose their income during that time. And if you think about other places where things just can't be kept, if you run a seafood restaurant, for example, it's not like you can really postpone some of those plans. So there are lots of losses associated with that. And man-in-the-middle attacks, we've also got one example in our report as a case study. Again, it's a real case study. We actually spoke to the person who made that fatal click and had money stolen as a result of that. It's very distressing. So think about the impact of cyber attacks. It's not just about financial. We have heard firsthand that this emotional toll on people. So the staff member who made that click actually blamed herself for the mistake, and so they had a nervous breakdown, and at the same time that's the long-term nightmare that they have. Every time when you encounter a similar request from a client, you start thinking back to that particular incident. So there can be devastating impact on not just businesses but also the people involved. Now, so let's go back to data, what I like to talk about. So we asked businesses about their level of concerns with cybersecurity, and we're able to separate between small business attitude and medium business attitude. What is interesting is that with small businesses, represented by the yellow bars, apart from them being more likely to answer 10 out of 10, you actually see them having lower scores in general compared to medium businesses. And if you look at the average here, we've got large businesses, medium businesses, and small businesses. Small businesses are the least worried about cybersecurity. Okay, I will show you in a moment why that is the case. And medium businesses are the most worried compared to the other two categories. Why is that the case? Because as a medium business owner, your business is big enough for you to actually be losing quite a lot of money. But at the same time, you're not big enough to have an in-house cyber team. You're not big enough to have your dedicated, tailored programs to protect yourself. So that's probably why medium businesses are actually feeling more vulnerable in that regard. Because if you think about large enterprises, they can afford to hire the best cyber experts. They can afford to have someone to rewrite some programs for them, but that is just not an option for medium businesses. So that's probably why medium businesses are the most concerned. Now, what we found in the report is we tried to sort of estimate this cybersecurity management gap, the risk management gap. So we asked businesses not just their level of concern, but also how prepared are they when it comes to cyber attacks. So how prepared are you in withstanding or even preventing cyber attacks? So what is interesting is that small businesses, again, they're unprepared, but they're also relatively not as concerned. And large businesses, what you can see is that the gap is the smallest. So whilst they're concerned, they also make sure they're almost just as prepared for that kind of situations. Now, this is in part attributed, the lack of concern about cybersecurity among small businesses may in part be attributed to the findings that we've got here. have they experienced cyber attacks before? So the yellow bar, small businesses, up the top of the list, 2/3 of them said they've never come close to any cyber incidents. So they think that this is a very distant matter to them. Okay, and for 20% of them who said they've experienced something, it was an unsuccessful attempt. So they think, yeah, we can dodge it. And then there are a few that have told us that it's about their customers, or very, very, very few actually experienced one of those direct attacks where their business accounts are hacked or their business system was hacked. So again, up the top of the list, that is sort of the reason as to why some businesses are not overly concerned, because they feel like it won't happen to us. Well, nevertheless, we've asked businesses what they have done to improve their cybersecurity management. I think this is probably something of relevance to those of you who work in this sector. Again, as I said, it is important to know what businesses are thinking before you pitch a product to them or before you pitch a service to them. What you can see is that a lot of small businesses, 58% of them, said they've done nothing to improve cybersecurity management. Again, it's a very consistent story. They think it's not going to happen to them, therefore why do I need to do anything? But if they really do have to do something, upgrading systems is the number one go-to option. And that's followed by, what is interesting now is for small business and medium business, the second go-to option is to find external experts, consultants. Whereas for large businesses, the second option is to actually do more training for their organisation. So again, it reflects the level of resources and expertise within organisations of different sizes. And down the bottom of the list is upgrading equipment. Now, as I mentioned before, barriers to cybersecurity management. This is a very important one. There are two key barriers that we've identified. Both of them basically relate to perceptions. If you look at the green one first, it's about affordability. Okay, if we look at small businesses down the bottom, 41% of small businesses think they cannot afford it. Okay, and medium businesses, about 15% of them said the same thing. And the second reason behind the barrier to investment in cybersecurity is about the perception of relevance to them. So as I highlighted before, small businesses tend to think that it's not relevant to them. So we've got 17% of them actually saying that it's not relevant to their business, and also 9% of medium businesses say that it's not relevant to their business. Now, this is very difficult for me to believe, because I think in this day and age, who can so confidently say that you are not exposed to cybersecurity risk? If you think about yourself, say if you're a hairdresser, yes, I know your main tool is a pair of scissors, but if you think about where you order your supplies, you order online, you've got your credit card details stored everywhere, and you've got your supplier details, and if you think about how you take bookings, your customers probably place their bookings online as well, so you've got customer data, and maybe their credit card as well. Okay, if you get hacked, think about the liability that you may be exposed to. So, even though your trade requires you to use tools like scissors, you are still exposed to cybersecurity risk. And as I said before, the examples that I've got in the report are cafes, restaurants, where people think you work in the kitchen, so there's no cyber risk. No, there's plenty. Okay, because as long as you're exposed to the digital world, there is cyber risk. So this, to me, is one of the key barriers to improving cybersecurity. It is the fact that people think it is not relevant to them. Now, so for those of you who are interested in knowing, who exactly are these people who think it's irrelevant? So I've actually got the industry breakdown to show you. This is, again, the beauty of our data. Probably unsurprisingly, you can see the top four are basically the ones that people think, we rely on our hands. Accommodation and food services, so that's the hospitality sector, like I said before, cafe, restaurants, hotels. Second is construction. Third is other services, so that's personal services or your mechanics, fixing your cars. You probably think, we have other tools. And then retail trade. So they're the top four. And again, as I said, you can probably see that they're more consumer facing. So people think, we don't always sit behind a computer, so we're not exposed, but that's not the case. Now, just to wrap up my presentation, I'll just finish off with this slide about what businesses told us a few months ago about their plans on cybersecurity investment in 2024 compared to the previous year. Now, again, you can see a bit of, you can also see the clusters here. So if you look at down the bottom, the green bars represent investing more than the previous year, and the red bars represent investing less than last year, and the yellow one represents the fact that they're not spending any money on cybersecurity at all. So down the bottom, you can see professional, scientific, and technical services and financial and insurance services. They are the ones that are definitely more aware of the importance of cybersecurity. So they're actually a lot more likely to say that they will invest more than last year, and they're also a lot less likely to say that we do not spend in this area. Now, on the other hand, if you look at the top, again, this is basically the same cluster that you can see, like the human services area. other services, as I said, these personal services or mechanics, etc. So 25% of them say we don't spend on cybersecurity. So again, it reflects the attitude that is not relevant. And second is, again, hospitality, and then retail, and arts and recreation services. So arts and recreation services, it relates to, say, tourism activities. We take people on tours, like, why do I need cybersecurity? Again, think about the credit cards details. Think about all sorts of different information that we keep. So maybe even passport details, think about it. Think about the legal implications for you if you have leaked all those kind of information. So again, you can see the different attitudes sometimes being influenced by what industries they're in. And again, my advice is for us to really raise awareness when it comes to cybersecurity management, because the impact can be devastating. And I will wrap up here. For those of you who are interested in a copy of the report, you can scan this code. Otherwise, it's available on the Business News Number's website as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you to stay there for a minute, because we're going to open the floor up to some questions just quickly, because we don't have too much time. So if there's anyone who'd like to ask some questions, we get the mic across to you. Here we go, Joe.
Regarding crime, do you know if there is a cybersecurity crime that has been committed, who should I contact regarding crime?
Who do you contact? So there's a government agency where they actually log all the cybersecurity incidents, and they do have a report every year that actually tells people how many incidents have been reported and the size of loss as well. So yeah, I can connect with you online, offline about that. Yeah, but there's definitely a government agency that keeps track of it.
Any other questions? Wow, you've been through dumbstruck. Fantastic, well done.
Thank you.
Obviously,
Thank you, everyone.
Come down for a moment. We're going to ask you to do a presentation. These beautiful zebras over here. We do run, as most of you know, a really green chamber. And Emmanuel's a keen gardener himself.
Okay.
Thank you for the presentation.
Well, thank you for that. All right, well, let's get the next thing cranked up for Gaurav. That? Now. Yes. Okay, folks, so we have presenting to us now, we have Gaurav Verma, Head of IT Risk and Security of the AX Group. Welcome, Gaurav.
Good evening, everyone. Can I please get an answer? More energy, because the next 30 minutes is going to be, towards hacking, cybercrime. So I want energy, enthusiasm in everyone. Yeah, better. Okay, I'll start with thank you, Emmanuel, for inviting me here. I'll start with a quick introduction. My name is Gaurav Verma. I am the head of IT risk and security at Axe Group. Here's my LinkedIn URL if you want me to search. I do have 15 years of experience in cybersecurity. I am also a PhD student at University of Sydney. And in next few years, I'll be also adding doctor in front of my name, like Dr. Sharman. Very, very curious for that day, but it will take another 3-4 years because I just started. I've also collaborated with a lot of law enforcement agencies, police, army, universities to share our knowledge on cybersecurity, cybercrime, a lot of attempt on robberies, and in fact, I am currently doing my PhD research in IoT hacking in the cybercrime area, where you can bypass all your security in your vehicles. I can get into any vehicle, any car you can name, including your Tesla Model 3, Toyota, Mazda, any brand you name. It's quite easy to unlock your car, break into your car, steal stuff. It's quite easy. So I'm working on that research at University of Sydney. I also moved to Australia in 2021 on destination talent visa. I am also global certifications and award winner. Before I start, I'll quickly show a quick device. Can anyone guess what is this device? This looks a fancy, gaming console, but it is not.
It's a transmitter.
Yeah, kind of. But which transmitter? Any guesses?
That's like transmitter.
Yeah, any technical guys here in the room who can guess? It is a transmitter. Very good guess. But what exactly it can do? Yep. So this device is so dangerous that it is basically a software-defined radio. It works on radio frequencies. It has the capacity to block, jam radio signals. You start talking about your car fog keys. With one click, your car remote keys won't work. With one click, projector will stop working. Smart lights, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. You talk about any smart devices, everything can stop working. I'll quickly start something. How many of you are Android users? Can you please raise your hand? Only 2 in the room? Okay. You will be quite lucky. And how about iOS? Are you using an iPhone? Okay, you'll see a pop-up in your iPhone now. Please check. And if you are receiving a pop-up, please raise your hand. I'll wait for a few more seconds. Okay, can you please raise your hand? Okay. Apple TV, yeah. Apple Watch. Whatever pop-ups you're getting it's from this device. So what I'm going to do is I'm launching a Bluetooth attack, and your phone will be hacked in the next 30 seconds. I'm just kidding. Okay, to be honest, I'm just launching a Bluetooth spam attack, which is this device is pretending to be a iOS device, which can be your Apple TV or your other iPhone, iOS. Are you still getting it? Okay, I'll stop it. So this is called Bluetooth spam attack, and we can also use this to clone devices. For example, if you're using an RFID card to enter into your building, so I have more than a dozen of these devices to physically bypass any physical security. And if you feel that if you are entering into an apartment using an RFID card, you touch your RFID card, your building gate opens, you can open your garage door. It's hardly a 30-second job to bypass it. So that's how dangerous these attacks are. One of the example I'm currently researching is medical devices such as pacemaker. Within few seconds, I can turn it off. Imagine the disruption, and how dangerous these devices are and these technologies are. So if these devices, these knowledge are in wrong hands, it would be a major disaster in the economy. Okay, quick snapshot of Axe Group. Axe Group is basically a fintech company. We provide insurance software as a SaaS platform, and our focus is on life insurance, property insurance. Our production is entirely on cloud. So we are a SaaS application provider purely for insurance companies, and we do a lot of security things that I'm going to show in the coming slide. But if you have more questions on what exactly Axe Group is doing in the insurance sector, please reach out to Nick, who is also from Axe Group, the same guy in white shirt, like me. Okay, so this slide is one of the interesting slides because it talks about cybersecurity attacks. If you are not even a technical person, if you own a business, you are an entrepreneur, you should definitely take a photo of this picture, because if you are covering half of this, you are securing a lot of your organization. So think about defense in depth or multiple layers of an eggshell. If you have an egg, and if you throw it from this height, it will break. But if you wrap it with a thermocol paper and put it in a paper bag, add another layer, it won't break if you throw it from this height. So defense in depth is really important for any organization, and starting with perimeter security, network security, endpoint security, application security, it's a mixture of all security layers that we embed in any organization. So this is what I do at Axe Group, and if you have any detailed technical questions, I'm happy to take it offline. Okay, so cyber resilience is becoming business resilience, and it is the backbone of any business now. As Dr. Sharma said, even if you are a barber, accountant, very small business, even if it is a one-man organization, it can cause a lot of disruption, and a lot of businesses are getting shut down just purely because of cyber attacks. Okay, so this is how an attacker would respond after your business is burned down. So attackers may look cute, but they are not. Okay, so we have already talked about the introduction, how crucial it is for business today, especially with the SMEs, and it is very crucial to understand how to protect your businesses, which is way more important now than ever. Okay, so building a strong digital foundation, common threats and how to identify them. In the coming slides, I will be talking about basic cybersecurity hygiene, the attacks that we are seeing now, and basic steps to protect your business. Okay, top 5 cyber threats that everyone should know. Phishing scam, deceptive emails that can trick into your revealing your sensitive information. I plan to do a real live phishing demo, but I couldn't do it because of time constraint. But I have created a lot of phishing campaigns, phishing pages in my life, more than hundreds, and so basically the success rate so far is close to 50 to 60%. That means 50 to 60%, more than 50 to 60%, folks can be trapped into phishing scams, and this is one of the major reason of all cybersecurity breaches that you currently see. So whenever you are typing your username and password, irrespective whether it is personal, work, any account, ensure that you look at the URL properly. Even if there is an HTTPS green sign, you should look at the URL completely. Don't rush, take your time, and then enter your credentials. Ransomware. I think Australian government released a new law in which if you are paying a ransom, you need to report. So that was released by our Prime Minister just a few hours ago. So I am personally against paying any ransom to any threat actors, because there is no guarantee that even after paying ransom you'll get your data back. So ransomware attacks is again one of the most dangerous attacks, and we should be extra careful. Insider threats, you never know if your employees are stealing data and selling it to your competitor. So that's one of the major insider attacks. Social engineering attacks. I have done social engineering attacks myself, in my previous organizations, and success rate is close to 90%. If I'm entering into your office with a bouquet of flowers that I'm here to meet your CEO, I think 90% of you would allow me to enter into your office. Am I correct? If someone is saying no, I can probably try another method. But yes. Yes. So social engineering attacks are quite dangerous. I can probably try another method, like throwing a USB drive outside your office or maybe inside your cabin, and when you plug into your laptop, your laptop is compromised. So I have done this multiple times. USB attacks, the success rate is again 70 to 80%. I bought 10 pen drives, threw it in my office. 7 staff members picked up that pen drive and took it to their home. And 2 of them were very smart. They did not plug into their official work laptop. They plugged into their personal laptops. And when they plugged in, I got to know that this is the IP address, this is the host name of that particular laptop, this is the person actually plugging that USB drive. So I got every information. So success rate on social engineering attacks is still pretty high. One of the example is tailgating. If you are entering into your workplace, ensure that you look at your back, and ensure that there is no one entering along with you. Business email compromise. I am sending you an email that I am one of your vendor. Please pay this invoice. Many big companies, including Google, Facebook, have fallen into these scams, and they have lost a ton of money. Okay, so this is the cost of ignoring cybersecurity lessons from real life breaches. There have been more than a dozen cases in 2024 alone this year, including MediSecure, Clubs New South Wales, Early Setter. Last year we had Latitude, 14 million users compromised. I think one of the biggest was Canva. 137 million users were affected. All their credentials, emails were stolen and available on dark web. So dark web monitoring is another thing that everyone should be monitoring. So if you're using username and password on any social media website, let's say Facebook, and if Facebook gets compromised, your password is available on dark web and anyone can see it. If your credit card is compromised, you don't even know. I can get a copy of your credit card by spending $10, and by spending $10, I can misuse your credit card and do my shopping. Of course, I will be, federal police will be behind me, but again, there are methods. So, I personally use 2 different bank cards. Yes, please.
Do you allow people to go to dark web? It's not even they should not go to dark web.
I mean, you can and you may not. If you're a technical person, if you're in IT, you need to monitor your dark web. If you're an organization, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to monitor your official work email addresses. If you can give me your work email address, I can let you know how many credentials are available on dark web, and anyone can misuse them. And the biggest problem I see in enterprises is they are using same password for multiple websites, which you should not do. So you should have a different password for each and every different website. Okay, some of the quite dangerous attacks that we saw previously globally in Ukraine 2015, power grid was hacked, 250,000 customers were impacted, and there was no power for days. US hospital was compromised in 2020 due to a ransomware attack. Computers were disabled, life entering, and it had a fatal impact. 2021, Colonial Pipelines, one of the latest one, first incident in 57 years, and it resulted in massive fuel shortage. 4 million ransom was paid, and their data was still available on dark web. 2021 Kaseya attack, one of the biggest one, 50 service providers were compromised, 1 million endpoints were impacted. Has anyone heard about 19 July 2024 incident where many organizations were facing blue screen of death? No? Yeah, it was because of CrowdStrike. So it was not a security incident. It was an incident related to a wrong patch, which resulted in millions of systems to be down. Okay, cyber hygiene practical tips for non-techies: ensure that you are using secure password, different passwords, and using multi-factor authentication. Safe browsing and email practices, regular software updates. I see a lot of businesses are using pirated Windows. They don't even care to buy a genuine Windows, which I would strongly recommend. Even for your personal devices, including mobile, even if you're using Android, I'll recommend using an antivirus for your Android phone. Okay, so how to make your business cyber resilient on a budget? You can have affordable tools and software. You don't need to spend a ton of money on buying antivirus, EDR, XDR, web proxy, firewalls, and all. So you can actually bundle a lot of these items into a single package. Leverage a lot of free resources. Free content is available on YouTube. If you need any guidance on that, please reach out to me. Outsourcing versus in-house. Dr. Sharman rightly said that there are organizations which can't afford to have cybersecurity experts full-time. There are a lot of organizations which are providing you CISO as a service, security as a service, and if you need any assistance on that, reach out to Emmanuel or myself. We are happy to assist in that area. Okay, protecting your customer data, and once you have a breach, then there will be a breach of organization data as well as trust. So trust is your greatest asset, and that's why customer data security matters the most. As I said, basic security measures should be in place. Understanding data privacy laws. If you have a breach, then you should know who to report, whom to report, how to report. Okay, this is a checklist for SMEs. Ensure your website is secure. You should be using a WAF. Basic email security hygiene should be there. A lot of things can be done free of cost. I'm sure a lot of you are having email addresses of your domain, but have you considered implementing SPF, DKIM, DMARC? These are all basic things that you can implement free of cost. You don't need to spend a single dollar to implement this. This is like signing a check before you hand it over to someone. This is the same concept in email security. Basically, you're signing that email when you're sending that email to someone else, so that an attacker cannot spoof that email. All these things can be done at no cost. Okay, cyber insurance. I often say it's not if we have a breach, it is about when we are having that breach, and it is applicable to all enterprises, SMEs. And I strongly recommend to have cyber insurance for your organizations. It can obviously help mitigate the financial impact in case of any attack. It also limit the overall coverage, understand what is covered, what is not covered. I remember I was filling out a insurance questionnaire, and few years ago there was no mentioning of ransomware. Now insurance companies are so smart that they might or might not include a ransomware attack in your cyber insurance. So ensure that what documents you are signing, what questionnaire you are filling, because that's a risk insurance companies are also trying to avoid. Human firewall. Human is one of the most vulnerable thing apart from technologies. Ensuring that you train your employees frequently, do phishing simulation campaigns, have them attended the trainings for information security, encouraging a culture of security awareness, and we should be fostering an environment where everyone is open to share, to learn, and everyone is part of the security team. It's not just a cybersecurity guy who is part of the security team. Okay, so I'll take only 2 more minutes. So this is the quite latest report from OAIC, Notifiable Data Breaches report, which was published just a couple of months ago, and you saw the big spike in the reporting. And these are the sectors, top 5 sectors to notify data breaches: health, Australian government, finance, education, retail, and this is just a 6-month data, the breaches that have been reported, and there are hundreds and dozens of breaches that entrepreneurs doesn't even report. Okay, so one of the major source of data breaches is malicious or criminal attack, system fault 3%, and human error with 30%. And again, as I said, phishing, ransomware, compromised credentials are the main reasons of a data breach. So again, work on the basics. Forget about implementing a DLP solution or something. First, focus on the basics. Okay, next slide is quite important. I always say that working in cybersecurity is not stressful at all. And Peter is 39 years old. With this, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, I'd like to invite Stella over now to present Gaurav with a token of our appreciation. Beautiful. And thank you, Stella. Stella's our secretary, so if you need any more details about the chamber, she's around and you can always contact her. Emmanuel, while I have you here, we have a certificate that we can present because Megan's in the house. You were on air, so off you go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We still have one more certificate to give out. I've got the chairs here, man. You're fine. We're getting ready for our panel, but I'll let Emmanuel introduce the panel to us.
Thank you. Can I call the panelists? We're going to do it very quickly. We have the music and the music is waiting. Shiva.
We won't make you carry your own chair, Shubha. Hang on. All right, there you go.
So I'm going to quickly do an introduction. Please
close this video.
Coming. You read my mind.
So we all know Gaurav. Can I quickly ask each one of you to quickly introduce yourself?
Take your seats, everyone. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Shubha Bala. I've been in the IT sector for about 25 years, and I've basically covered most of the regions from States, Europe, and my last challenging, what you call that state will be China. I've been based there for 7.5 years. under the security division. And I moved to Australia in 2019, and I was involved with ACS and mentoring for IT sector for NSW. And furthermore, my specialization is in the area of software development, and I'm a system analyst. So along the way, what I do is I also work with a legal perspective to Cumberland Legal Center. I do offer what you call it as what Mr. Joe asked. If you got into a problem with cybersecurity legally, what you should do? What is the first step? So I do my volunteering services at the Australian, ECU, if you know. I'll be conducting sessions over there with the lawyers and barristers. You can come over. You can ask us if you get yourself into problems. We'll try to get you legally how to bypass those things. So this is a bit about me. So I think I'll pass it to the next.
Sure. Hey, hello everyone. My name is Vijay. I'm a boarding IT consulting firm based in Canada. We have an IT industry experience of close to 15 years. Running a business. Like right now, we're doing IT consulting and GenAI application development across different businesses from small, medium, and enterprise use cases. Yes, as I said, as part of consulting, we do build solutions on cloud where we enforce cybersecurity related configuration items to the best when we build a solution for our customers. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here and I'm representing DLI training. So it's a safer kind of approved RTA company, and it provides short courses and long qualifications on civil construction and building, and it's part of a group of the companies. So the first part of the company is Deconcept. So what Deconcept does is that it's a sole distributor of decontamination products, that asbestos decontamination equipment, and another is PureSafe. So it's basically does all asbestos removal, demolition, excavation services. So this group of companies, we basically try to cover the entire ecosystem, from providing training to supplying equipment to doing the actual services of the business. And I'm a digital marketing specialist. And
I think Gaurav, we already heard of it from you. Thanks. Okay, so I just wanted to explain the reason for having a panel is not only are these guys IT experts, they actually work in companies. So we wanted you to sort of hear from them, have they faced actual users, right? Have they faced any cyber attacks? If they have, what sort of experience have they had? What have they done to put in place any cyberproof? What have they done? Or if they say, nah, we haven't done anything, we're not going to be hacked, we want to hear the reasons, right? From actual users like yourself. That's the purpose of the panel. So I'm going to, the next question I'm just going to throw to any of you who want to answer. So the question is basically, have you been hacked in the last, say, 5 years? If so, can you, any one of you share your experiences? Anyone? Gaurav, have you? Are you okay? Go. There you are.
So, yeah, being an IT consulting firm who involved in building security, IT into the solutions we build. I myself, we are one of our employees, it's a phishing attack, we are attacked, but we realize that we are getting attacked. So, your LinkedIn profiles, all your things around, public internet, anyone will be able to see your LinkedIn profiles. And there are, ways where they can suspect your email addresses based on your first name, last name, and your company domain addresses. And so to one of our team members or employees, there was an email all of a sudden saying that I'm a CEO of your company, and the email is from the person, the CEO of the company as well. He didn't realize what is the domain extension is. So emails, you generally suddenly can't see what is the domain name, right? It just comes from the CEO's name, and he didn't realize it was his first week or so in his employment, and all of a sudden saying I stuck somewhere closer to the place where we were, and they're asking to come and bring some money or bring me a gift, something like that. So yeah, all of a sudden that guy went to the place where they were asking for, trying to purchase something, but he suspected something is wrong and just gave a call to the CEO asking, is that really you? Like, so he's like the employee is from a tech background. He's in MS in computer science engineering, but like we went to the scenario of where we are almost got like cheated due to this suspicious phishing emails actually. So rightly after that, like soon after, we realized that okay, this is happening. So with Microsoft Outlook, like we can put in labels where we can, if there is an email from an external domain outside of the company, then you can highlight that like with a yellow color label or something like that. Like the moment you saw those labels, you have to be very careful whether to open it or not. Right? So this is one of the examples which like happened like last 4 months or so.
Wow. Thanks for that. Anyone else has had any experience?
Yeah, perhaps I want to share this. Recently there was a situation. The part is most of us, we are using Microsoft 365, and the best part about Microsoft 365 is getting the support from the support team. So the procedure is a bit long. You got to call, and then they'll give you a ticket number, and you got to wait, and somebody will be connected. Now, what has happened is this particular employee, she is in the age of like between perhaps 40 and 50. So what has happened? The person who attended, or the candidate, Microsoft candidate who attended to her, was coming from the region, China. And then for the first round, they managed to solve the problem, something to do with the email. It went well, and they became friends online. And the person told her that, look here, in future, you don't have to go through Microsoft channel. I'll give you my ID and password, put it in your Teams, and just call me directly anytime. I'll solve your problem. So what this person did, why do I have to Microsoft call them and then got to get the tickets and I got to go through the entire procedure? I'm not going to do that. I've got somebody who can help me out. Call this person, and this person attended, and he sent a link saying that, look here, I can connect your machine and I can get it all sorted out. That access has went to the router. They unencrypted the router, so the router is open around 2-3 o'clock in the morning, Australian time. The entire company's network was hacked. So the first step is they send out emails to all the clients stating that this is your outstanding invoice and you got to make the payment. And the emails are going from the company itself. It's not a phishing. It is exact. So second thing is when what you call this, on the other side, on the same way, there's multiple bank accounts are being opened at Westpac, Cumberland. But the good part is, since we had this two-factor authentication, passwords and all these things, so the bank got back saying that, why are you opening another business account? Could you please give us a certificate? Then the directors got to they called me, told me that it's something funny, somebody's opening up an account. I say to open up an account, they need your passport, they need your identity information. Where did they get that? So now, when I went back and checked, what happened was, the hack happened, it's coming from Ghana, South African part. So I was thinking, it's already been compromised by then. So for the person to come up and say that, because they're not aware, it all looks very genuine, friend-to-friend contact, that one contact person who get connected to this person, who took her to that link, it has spoiled the entire network. And it took us 48 hours just to close that, and plus going to the police station, making a report, and have to change the entire passport. Identity theft has took place, support to that. So a lot of things have to change, including the certificate numbers. So this is a bit of a stressing thing. So now what we have to do, there's two parts. One is legislation, governance, and policies. The other part is training. And the IT department, sometimes the stakeholders need to take a bit of time sending them for training, or otherwise what they have to do is internally you have to have IT drills, like how we have the fire drills. So what I start doing is I start sending phishing mails, and I tell them that there was a situation that happened. I mean, we've been training people up. So I said that I'm going to do it whenever time that I got. So I noticed that people going around clicking links as he said, just click the link, and then they said that, oh, we got to make this payment, so I'm going to click this link today. So they click, and that link ended up on my computer, and then I noticed close to 7 employees been clicking that link. It means the awareness, it is at this lowest bar, and it always happens in medium-sized companies. Even the small-sized companies, so they're very skeptical. They're like, oh, no, we're not going to click any links, only attachment. So you see, the part is like, we never know. It just happens. So we can't blame that person who became friendly with this tech person, but the tech person took it to the other side. Anything could happen. So you are still a target. Just be aware of it. Thanks.
Thanks, Shubha. So, Gaurav, I'm going to ask you, a lot of, as we saw Dr. Sherman Chan's presentation, especially looks like the medium-sized businesses, the larger businesses have high security. Yeah. Cyber criminals are aware. The medium-sized businesses have money, but probably are not cyberproofing sufficiently, right? What do you think should be the budget, right, that should be spent at the minimum, right? We're not talking big money. What do you think what should be put in place? And what sort of budgets are we looking at? And then I'm going to sort of just quickly run through. So have you spent anything on it? Do you think there's going to be cyber attack? Just a few comments from you.
Yeah, thanks, Manuel. That's a great question because I do speak with organizations with 1 employee, 2 employees, 5 employees, 10 employees, their annual revenue, close to $1 million, who cannot afford to have cybersecurity professionals and pay a lot of money to them. So, but I think at the minimum, you can take CISO as a service, managed security service at a minimum cost of, let's say, 10,000. So there are a lot of companies around. I'm happy to help those companies in that area. But yeah, that's something we should be looking at.
Sure. So have any of you put in place any cybersecurity sort of measures? If so, would you like to sort of share what have you done?
Well, in the last fiscal year, we were attacked by scammers and our website was redirected to the inappropriate sites. And we are an education provider, and we run massive campaigns in Google, Bing, and Microsoft, and it was an amazing issue for us. Thankfully, our owners, meaning few people, putting their lives on us to solve this. And we have this very good hosting providers and backup system, due to which we were able to restore it quickly, and it was not that expensive because nowadays you can vary your subscription model, and based on your budget you can choose the subscription that best works for you. So we chose the one that was very good, and then that way we were able to turn it around quickly on the budget.
Right. So thank you very much. I think audience is all ready for the Christmas party now. So thank you very much, panel. So you can just stay here.
Can we have Joe, Moses, and Susan come forward, please? And Joe, here we go. You can have the petunia.
Since Gaurav has already got one.
Gaurav's doing well. He's got the Zerf brother. So we've got Moses and where's Susan? There we go. Susan, you've got the coxcomb in. Beautiful. And if you would like to please present one each to our panel. Gaurav's got one, so you can start from, no, there's 3. The first one's got one, so the other 3. Otherwise you'll be starting a garden right here. Well, let's have a big round of applause for our panel. That is fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, Harry's not here. Damn. 1 second. Stay where you are. Let's get a photograph. That's hacking, isn't it? All right. Big grins, everyone. Look happy. Haven't been hacked. Okay, thank you. And let's move on quickly. Thanks, guys. You can be seated. We have in the hall here some beauty pageant winners. Can we ask you to come forward, girls and ladies, young ladies? And we're going to do our raffle right now. So I'm going to ask Sarah to come and help me with the raffle so we can really get through with this. Better change that to lucky draw. All right. Here we go. All right, come on, you three young ladies up in front here. We're going to ask you all to draw the raffle, but very quickly because I'm useless with names. Tell us, you are?
Juanita.
And you are?
I'm representing. Sorry.
All right.
I am Vivek Fajen from Plano.
Fantastic.
It's a new one.
Thank you so much. And you familiar face here?
My name is Elita, and I represent this RGNS Promotion Management. And thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you for being here. I need a step ladder.
My name is Sarah. I'm representing our chain promotions and I'm graduate from Global International.
Okay, Sophia, shock them all in the room. How old are you?
I'm 15.
Wow.
All right, give her a round. Give them all a big round of applause, everyone. All right, we have some fantastic prizes. Send us, get out there. Emmanuel's pile them up. Let's do the draw. And since I can't read, somebody else will have to. Don't look, don't you dare. Okay. Green Rider, are you in the hall? There you go. Emmanuel, you're talking to you. All right, and the next. No, definitely not. You draw your own boys. Yay, that's me. I swear, I'm not kidding. Don't do that. All right, what do I get? A bottle of wine, Manny? I can do that. Fantastic. Come on, Manny, there it is. Hang on. We'll get there. Who is the next one? Cindy Ring. Are you in the hall? Beautiful. There you go. We'll go back again. Let's do the two. All right. Beyond Joy Ford. Beyond. Come on with Joy. We've got Nathan Casa. Under ordinary circumstances, I would go once, twice, thrice, going gone. Alright? But I know the poor chap is soaking out there, so we'll keep his bottle of wine for him. Nathan will want a bottle.
What?
So we've got chocolates.
The light music. Sorry, I lost one.
Alright, well, give them a round of applause, everyone. Alright, I promised that I'll get through that in 6 minutes. I think I've beaten it. Alright, guys, time to open those doors and get out there, hit the bar, hit the music, hit the dance floor. Thank you for coming. Have a wonderful rest of the evening, everyone. If I don't see you at the bar, Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year to you all. God bless you.